In chapter 2393, we find Mrs. Karen, the matriarch of the Karen family, wrestling with disappointment and hope in equal measure. As the chapter unfolds, her initial dismay gives way to a renewed sense of optimism, all centered around a potential connection between her daughter Kiera and the enigmatic Julian. Despite Julian's uncertain prospects in joining the family's martial arts gym, Mrs. Karen sees an opportunity for romance. She encourages Kiara to consider the possibility of a relationship, pointing out Julian's single status and their shared acquaintance. However, Kiara, with a dark expression, dismisses the idea, revealing a complex set of concerns. Her resistance stems from the stark differences in their lifestyles. She points out Julian's opulent possessions, including luxury cars worth millions, creating a perceived barrier between their worlds. Moreover, she highlights the significant age gap, labeling him as much older, at 35, and expressing her reluctance to marry into a wealthy family. To her, Julian's age makes him more like an uncle than a potential partner. Undeterred, Mrs. Karen playfully rebukes her perspective, insisting that calling Julian uncle is too old fashioned. She suggests that the age gap is negligible, emphasizing Julian's youthful appearance and asserting that he looks like a man in his early 20s. Despite the light-hearted exchange, Kiara remains firm in her desire to focus on her passion for martial arts. She requests that her mother refrain from discussing marriage, concerned that it might be misconstrued as a disdain for matrimony. Mrs. Karen, however, continues to express her worries about Kiara's unmarried status, urging her to find a reliable partner and experience love. The narrative takes a reflective turn as Mrs. Karen reminisces about Kiara's childhood. Initially envisioning her daughter as a princess, she recalls the transformation brought about by Kiara's early exposure to martial arts. The once adorable doll like girl evolved into a formidable fighter, challenging and defeating those who dared to bully her. Mrs. Karen's frustration surfaces as she contemplates how her daughter's martial prowess has deterred potential suitors. The chapter sheds light on Kiara's romantic struggles, revealing that despite her beauty, suitors have been intimidated by her martial arts skills. Even matchmakers in Jonsburg hesitate to assist her due to fear of her formidable reputation. Kiara's interactions with prospective partners have been marred by her unapologetic response to harassment, leaving her unapproachable and single. Mrs. Karen's attempts to explore potential matches among Kiara's martial arts peers also prove useless, as Kiara sees them more as buddies than romantic interests. The chapter closes with Mrs. Karen grappling with her maternal concern, echoing a sentiment universal to parents, the anxiety surrounding their child's romantic endeavors.